Two tacticians, two leaders, both defined by control, one through fear, the other through precision. Batman, the Dark Knight, who turns preparation into a weapon. Cyclops, the X-Man who turns every glance into a calculated strike. They're not gods or aliens, they're commanders, soldiers, and symbols. When the world's greatest detective faces the man who never misses, strategy alone won't be enough. So let's get to it. Bruce Wayne, the boy born into Gotham's wealthiest family, seemingly destined for a life of privilege. But then came the gunshots in Crime Alley, the night Thomas and Martha Wayne were murdered in front of their son. And in that moment, Bruce's life changed forever. He swore an impossible vow to dedicate everything he had, his fortune, his mind, his very body, to waging war on crime. And out of that vow came something more than a man, something criminals will come to fear in their very bones. He became the Batman. Now here's the thing about Batman. You'd expect a normal human to be out of his league in a world of gods, aliens, and monsters. But Bruce, he's anything but normal. He's trained himself past the limits of peak humanity. Strength-wise, this man can bench press over 1,000 pounds, tear through steel, and knock around opponents who weigh multiple tons. His punches collapse walls. His kicks launch metahumans through the air. People love to say Batman is just a man, but look closer and you'll see. He's in the same ballpark as super soldiers. If Captain America is the gold standard of human potential, Batman's right there with him. In durability, Batman has that covered too. Even without the Batsuit, Bruce has endured punishment that would kill almost anyone else. We're talking hits from Wonder Woman, Venom-pumped Bane, and Deathstroke. And with the armor, he's tanked bullets, explosions, electricity, and blows from Aquaman, Professor Zoom, and even Superman himself, sometimes when they weren't holding back. Sure, he gets hurt, but the fact that he can stand up again after that kind of punishment tells you all you need to know. Then there's the speed. Batman doesn't just move fast. He moves so fast that normal people look like they're standing still. He dodges bullets all the time. Not just lucky dodges either. We're talking about dodging automatic gunfire, bullets from point-blank range, even reacting in the middle of chaotic battles where metahumans are moving at superhuman speeds. To him, that's just another Tuesday. But the real weapon? His mind. Batman is widely considered one of the greatest martial artists in all of DC Comics. He's mastered every fighting style known to man, plus a few alien ones for good measure. He can switch styles mid-fight, predict his opponent's next move, and fight with such instinct that it's like his body reacts before his brain even has to think. He's held his own against fighters like Lady Shiva, Bronze Tiger, and Karate Kid, names that top the charts for deadliest martial artist. And more often than not, Bruce wins. Because he doesn't just fight, he outthinks, he out-adapts. And let's not forget the gadgets, batarangs, explosives that can knock Kryptonians back, electrical weapons with tens of thousands of volts, sonic grenades, knockout gas, you name it, it's in the utility belt. Every single tool has a purpose, and Batman knows how to deploy them perfectly in the heat of combat. But at the end of the day, the thing that makes Batman terrifying isn't the gadgets or even the training, it's the genius. He's a master strategist, a tactician whose plans can, and have, taken down gods. Superman himself has said it. Batman is the most dangerous man on Earth, because when Bruce is given time to prepare, there's almost no one in the DC universe who's safe from him. That's why Batman is more than just Gotham's protector. He's more than just a founding member of the Justice League. He's proof that even in a universe filled with beings who can bend reality and shatter planets, one man, driven, relentless, unbreakable, can stand alongside them. He's not a god, he's not an alien, he's not enhanced by some lab experiment. He's something scarier. He's the Batman. Cyclops. Let's be honest, this guy doesn't get nearly enough credit. People hear eye lasers and think that's the whole story. But Scott Summers isn't just the guy with a glowing visor. He's one of the most dangerous tacticians and precision fighters in all of Marvel Comics. Because when you strip away the X-Men titles, the costumes, and the drama, Cyclops is a walking artillery cannon with the brain of a battlefield god. First up, power. Those optic blasts aren't lasers, and they're not heat vision. They're pure concussive force. Focused kinetic energy that hits like a freight train made of sunlight. We're talking enough power to blow through solid steel, punch holes through sentinels, or level mountains in a single blast. In Astonishing X-Men issue 1, he one-shotted a sentinel from miles away. In X-Men issue 175, he literally blew apart a mountain peak with a single optic barrage. He's restrained because he has to be, not because he's weak. If he ever unleashed his full power, he could devastate city blocks or tear holes through battleships in seconds. And then precision? Almost nobody in comics uses their powers with more surgical control than Cyclops. He can ricochet blast off multiple surfaces to hit targets he can't even see, splitting beams mid-flight to hit multiple enemies at once. In Uncanny X-Men issue 391, he bounced a blast off 5 walls to disarm multiple attackers without killing anyone. He can control the intensity down to a fraction of a degree, enough to knock someone out or enough to crater a mountain. And his visor isn't just eyewear, it's a weapon system. He's a human sniper rifle who calculates every shot faster than most people can blink. But raw power and precision are only half the equation. The other half, and what makes him truly terrifying, is the mind. Scott Summers is one of the greatest field tacticians in Marvel history. Captain America himself has called him one of the best battlefield leaders alive. He's coordinated the X-Men, X-Force, and Mutant Revolution squads against everything from Apocalypse's armies to cosmic level threats. The thing is, he doesn't just plan battles, he sees them. His mutant ability gives him perfect spatial awareness. That means every angle, every trajectory, every possible ricochet, he's visualizing them in real time. He doesn't just react, he orchestrates. When Cyclops calls the shots, people listen because he turns chaos into choreography. He's planned missions against Sentinels, Magneto, the Brood, even the Avengers, and walked away with the upper hand. In Avengers vs. X-Men, Captain America had to personally confront him because nobody else could shut him down. When Cyclops went full Phoenix, he nearly burned the world trying to save it. But here's the thing, even without the Phoenix, even without backup, Cyclops is dangerous. He's a master combatant trained in advanced hand-to-hand combat by Wolverine, Captain America, and even Cable. He's not just the guy who shoots beams. He's the guy who outmaneuvers you while blasting you through a wall. He's dodged sniper fire, reacted to Quicksilver level speeds, and fought blind while still tagging targets with pinpoint accuracy. When you combine that kind of training with his power set, you get something terrifying. Precision violence at its absolute peak. And durability? Don't sleep on that either. Cyclops has taken hits from Juggernaut, explosions from Apocalypse level mutants, and energy blasts that would liquefy normal people. And he keeps fighting. He's been shot, burned, knocked out of planes, buried alive. And every single time he gets back up, adjusts the visor, and keeps moving. Because that's Scott Summers in a nutshell. Focus. He doesn't get angry, he doesn't lose control, he locks in, calculates, and executes. And that focus is what makes him so lethal. He's not the most powerful mutant in the world, but he might be the most dangerous one in a fight. Because while other heroes improvise, Cyclops plans 10 moves ahead. He's the kind of leader who can turn rookies into soldiers and soldiers into legends. He's beaten gods with math. He's beaten armies with geometry. And he's done it all while holding back enough energy to vaporize everything in sight. So yeah, say what you want about him being the boring X-Man, but when Cyclops is on the field, everyone else is playing checkers. He's already playing the winning move in chess. He's not just an X-Man, he's the X Factor. Precision, power, leadership, and control, Scott Summers is the weapon. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, both of these guys, Batman and Cyclops, aren't cosmic, they're not gods, and they're not rewriting reality. But what makes them fascinating is how close they get to standing among those who can. Because these are two men who've taken discipline, precision, and tactics so far beyond normal that they turn strategy itself into a superpower. Now, physically, Batman's got the edge. Peak Human doesn't even cover it. He's bench pressed over 1,000 pounds, lifted massive debris off himself after explosions, and shattered reinforced steel doors with a single kick. He's kept pace with super soldiers like Deathstroke, traded blows with Bane while Venom amped. This is a man who's fought in exosuits against Superman, tanked strikes that sent cars flying, and still has enough stamina to keep fighting for hours afterward. Up close, Bruce dominates. He's mastered every single martial art: Krav Maga, Judo, Ninjutsu, Silat, Muay Thai, and has beaten world-class fighters like Lady Shiva, Bronze Tiger, and Ra's al Ghul. When it comes to technique and hand-to-hand precision, Cyclops simply cannot match that. But the thing is, Cyclops can hang. Scott's no stranger to close quarters combat. He's trained for decades under Wolverine and Captain America, sparred with Cable and Bishop, routinely holds his own against enhanced opponents. He's knocked Wolverine unconscious in one-on-one fights, dodged sword strikes from Psylocke, and taken down soldiers, sentinels, and even armored foes while coordinating entire teams mid-battle. He doesn't outfight Batman in the pocket, but he survives it long enough to reposition, and that's where the real danger begins. Because the moment distance opens up, the battlefield flips. Cyclops' optic blasts aren't heat or light, they're pure concussive force drawn from another dimension. He's blown through multi-story sentinels, torn apart tanks, and leveled mountainsides with a single focused beam. A casual blast has thrown the Juggernaut back. Even Colossus treats Scott's full force fire as something to brace for. Now imagine Batman, even in heavy combat armor, taking that kind of impact head on. One clean hit ends the fight. And here's the scary part. Cyclops doesn't need to aim. He can ricochet blast off walls, ceilings, and reflective surfaces to hit opponents behind cover. He's tagged Nightcrawler mid-teleport, and Storm while she was airborne. His spatial awareness is absurd. His brain constantly maps trajectories and calculates angles in real time. He can close his eyes, fire, and still hit the exact spot where his enemy will be. Now, Batman's best counter to all this will probably be stealth and deception. He'd drop smoke pellets, flash charges, EMPs, try blind at the visor, break line of sight, close in undercover. He's done it to Deadshot, to Prometheus, to armed SWAT teams in pitch black. But Cyclops has fought inside burning cities, magnetic storms, and alien battlefields with zero visibility. He's trained to track opponents through dust, fire, and chaos, and his visor sensors let him gauge heat, motion, and distance even when he can't see clearly. Bruce might vanish into the dark, but Scott only needs to glance in the right direction, and a concussive wall of energy erases the hiding spot. Bruce could still win if he lands a gadget, say a flashbang that overloads the visor, or a grapple strike that yanks it off. And he's fast enough to do it. This is the man who's dodged automatic gunfire and tagged superhumans mid-dash. But Cyclops isn't standing still either. He's reacted to Quicksilver tier speedsters, countered multiple enemies from every direction, and maintained control precise enough to knock weapons out of hands without killing the target. It's a tactical nightmare for Bruce. The more he moves, the more angles Scott can use. Eventually, Batman's armor starts to give. He's dodging, rolling, closing distance inch by inch, but every optic blast sends him flying back through walls and vehicles. He gets close once, maybe twice, trading blows, even landing hits, but Cyclops uses that split-second opening to unleash a point-blank blast that launches Bruce across the battlefield. Smoke, flame, silence, then the red glow cuts to the dark again. Let's be real, this fight is razor thin. Batman is stronger, tougher, and unquestionably the better martial artist. He's the guy who can beat gods with preparation. And even without it, he's always dangerous. But Cyclops brings a level of power and precision that Batman simply doesn't often face. At his core, Scott Summers only needs to look at you, and you're hit with a force that can tear through steel and concrete in an instant. Batman can hide, adapt, and counter, but Cyclops doesn't miss, and his control of distance and trajectory is too exact to overcome consistently. If Bruce has prep time, he wins. If it's neutral ground, no intel, just two tacticians meeting in battle, Cyclops edges it out. Because Batman studies the battlefield. Cyclops is the battlefield. He walks away burned, battered, visor cracked, but standing. Because at the end of the day, when precision meets preparation, the man who never misses wins by a fraction of a second. Cyclops wins.